Hello, I'm Chylli from channel Chylli, also known as Try, and we are going to be getting into the next Walpurgis Night event that's going on at Limbus Company right now. I am just going to be spending 200 summons right now. And there we go, we got Queen of Hatred. Don Quixote now, the ego it looks like.
보시게! 사랑과 평화를 수호한 자들의 이야기가 여기에 적혀있지!
And there we go, now we got the idea.
해결사란 건 이런 거구나.
We got really good early luck, but now we're not really getting anything. Right now I'm going for Night of Despair, Rodya.
내게 남은 건 너를 처음으로 담당했다는 볼품없는 긍지밖에 없는데 결국 선택받는 건 그쪽이야?
And there we go, we are again Link Master. And there we go, now we got all the Walpurgis IDs I've missed. I already looked up what Hong Lee's Pie story was, so I'm going to be skipping it now.
쏠 필요도 없겠네요.
Wait for our game to load now. Only 5 minutes in and we already got all the IDs. That's really good. God, why is the loading screen taking forever? Is there something wrong with my game?
진정들 하시게! 이 몸이 등장했으니! 환상체 탈출 제압, 격리실 관리, 정신이 나가버린 직원 제압, 무엇이든지 좋네! 본인이 틀림없이 도움이 될 테니 꼭 부르게!
It's day 26. What a merry, fantastic day it was once again. For today was the day upon which I was availed a chance to, with our dearest fellow magical maiden, explore the tales of fixers of the northern regions whose conveyance of justice was most valiant. Oh, how tedious it must have all been for the maiden to be incarcerated in such a barren, claustrophobic chamber, bereft of a morsel of simulation. You deserve it to breathe the free air, fighting evil by moonlight. Nay, one must always remain wary of the truth that she is but an abnormality, not to mention that I, as a captain, must set a proper example for the other employees. I must best categorize this under the label of attachment work. But of course, all my efforts, preparing various props that align with the abnormality's preferences, conversing for long hours with her, were all but honest toil to prevent abnormality. 0104's Cliff-Off counter from decreasing. It must be emphasized that any suggestions or allegations that I did all this for the sake of my entertainment, or that I voluntarily stayed past work hours just to obtain her ego gift, are most preposterous accusations which I do protest with vehemence. Let this record be the witness of mine earnestness. This is quite bizarre that my handwriting has become so squiggly and anxious. Before I am proceed, some deep breaths. Thus I shall herefore transcribe the lore of this arcana as she explained to me. From what I hear, she is one of the veritable magical girls who are destined to battle villains. A great will in need of observers of justice to stand tall before the overwhelmingly powerful might of villains, be it minor or major arcana, hath chosen them and transformed them into magical girls. As arcana itself is but a neutral force of magic, it can be possessed and molded by both good and evil. Only those who are free of the corrupting allures of power, only those with a steadfast vision for justice may be hailed magical girls. She claimeth to have other senpai, meaning she is the least experienced, or perhaps the youngest out of all of them, and hath explained that one moment she simply found herself arising in this facility. As I was the one in her chamber at the moment of her awakening, she mistook me to be an agent of the arcana. She is quite hostile to me then. 'Twas quite troublesome to resolve that misunderstanding. Magical girls, the Arcana. Much did she befuddle me with words I found so peculiar and unfamiliar. Until I espied a common theme. All these stories she shared were none too dissimilar from the tales of fixers of the city. Though following my employment here at Lobotomy Corporation, I am behooved to relinquish this old dream of mine of becoming a fixer. If only I could dream again by donning the identity of a magical maiden of justice. What joy that would be indeed. I inquired with haste, "Prithee, how doth one become subject of this choosing?" A great tragedy it was, for she explained that she knew not why she had been chosen, or one how goes about becoming a chosen one. Yet I came to a revelation upon observing the ego here extracted from her. Were I to be equipped with the staff and outfit, the very essence of love and justice, I may be a magical maiden of justice just as well. She could not find it within herself to believe it at first. Outfit is hardly what makes a magical girl, she vociferated. Yet she soon came to see eye to eye. My most honest heart thirsts toward justice, this burning righteous wrath against evil. Moreover, when she witnessed my battle against breach abnormalities, when she came out to assist our suppression efforts, she... Verily, it was a moment of revelation for her as well, that I am, forsooth, a veritable and excellent magical maiden just as herself. We are now together protectors of justice at this company. Though the Sephiroth always diminish us, admonishing us as more trouble than help, though other colleagues who have experienced loss at the end of the abnormalities may impart sentiments against us. I know this to be a truth. That true magical girls are stubborn strugglers, survivors weathering whatever terrible adversity that cometh their way. There's no wild naive ramblings of a dream-consumed one. In fact, ever since my transfer to the Central Command Team to manage this magical maiden, I had persevered and conducted repeated attachment work on her. And that half lifted me to the position of a captain. And as Manager Esquire have found this department the lowered containment breach rate for the magical 00104 both satisfying. Both Tiferet, Sir and Lady have both smoketh thusly indeed. God, the way she speaks really tongue-ties me when she says a lot of that in a row. Perplexing is thus supposed to imply that she used to breach containment. Yet in my recollections, I was her one and only manager ever since she was first contained in the Central Command. Yet I have no memory of her breaching containment. Well, nothing to concern myself with. Truthfully, I'm quite bubbling with excitement for what tomorrow holds. And there shall be peace that awaits me, nay, it shan't be. For that is a detriment to the worth of mine existence. Is it? How strange. 'Tis almost as if her sentiments are rubbing off on me. Verily, the existence of peace hath no business with my usefulness. This must be fatigue speaking. I must also visit this welfare team, for it hath opened anew today. In today's management session, she claimed that there was a strange stir at the end. Perchance one of her illicit senpai hath arrived here as an abnormality. I must go meet the employee responsible for a management post-haste. Well, with dull anticipation for what tomorrow holds, thus doth my daily journaling come to an end. Okay, that was a little bit long. Hey Arnold, moment, let me make a team here. Okay, I need 3 more IDs for this team. Okay, now I probably want to go with... There we go, I figured one of them probably didn't have any ego on. There we go, that's probably what we want to do.
나는 맞설 거야. 내게서 추출한 눈물과 별자리를 가지고. 네가 나를 선택했건 그렇지 않던 간에 난 관리자님의 명령을
Okay,
수행해야만 한다.
reading time. The child's footsteps alone exude a crushing sense of melancholy. Every step insidiously seems to convey these distracting thoughts and palpable dissatisfaction to the very hallways of the welfare team. The sensation becomes even more blatant, more invasive when she passes the once familiar and frequented containment unit. Why wasn't I chosen? Why didn't you choose me? Could raise this resentful heart. Hey, Miss Rodya, another busy day. Miss Rodyon? Hey, sorry, I was thinking about something. Are you sure you're okay? I heard you've been pulling a lot of all-nighters lately. I guess I really do look that tired. Yeah, the manager's been assigning me to so many containment units recently. Oh man, maybe you should talk to Master Chizette about this. I mean, it doesn't make sense for them to be so neglectful of a welfare team employee's welfare, right? Even the Sephiroth have to answer to someone, you know. It's entirely up to the manager to decide which abnormality we get to work on. That's true. I've got the opposite problem. I kept getting assigned to the same abnormality over and over again, and it wasn't even that interesting. Most of the time she doesn't say anything or just whines and moans. So I'm usually the one who has to talk. And whenever she did say something, it never made any sense, you know? Saying stuff like she used to be a knight. Oh yeah, right. Are you headed to manage 00173 again? No, ever since the abnormality gave me something, I don't know, the manager has not been assigning me any management tasks. I'm not complaining since I've been really tired as of late, but I just hope I'm not getting intentionally excluded from work. Wanna swap schedules with me then? I can't possibly. You're the team's model employee, Miss Rodyon. I couldn't even dream of surviving your packed schedule. I'm just not good enough for that. Sorry, I'd love to sit here and talk, but I really gotta get going now, so... Yeah, then go. Good luck with your day, too. The child stares blankly in the employer's general direction as he slowly walks away. She wasn't looking at the employer. It's that floating thing above his head. A sigil, a gift from an abnormality. It's the blessing. The blessing of the proud knight bestowed upon those she promises to protect. The blessing can provide highly effective protection for the employee in battles against abnormalities or ordeals, but those are insignificant details for the child. All that matters is that she wasn't chosen. What's so better about him than her anyway? What did he do better than her to deserve this? Her mind, captured by a sense of inferiority, spirals endlessly with question after question of this nature. So she glares at him like she's trying to bore a hole into him. This child was transferred from a different team to the welfare team when it first opened. The reasoning behind the manager's decision was clear. A new VAV risk abnormality had appeared the night of despair. To manage 00173, an employee of sufficient competency was needed. And she was indeed quite competent. It had been a while since her employment began, and the sheer fact that she was still alive was proof enough of her value. That she became the first employee to manage 00173. There were positives to this decision to pair them together. The abnormality's ego gear was quite good, and it was a rather easy abnormality for the child to handle. However, the downside was that the reason this child found it easy to handle this particular reticent humanoid abnormality of 0173 was that she felt free to share all her thoughts with it. And that led to her developing this idea that they were kindred souls, that they were friends. Imagine being her, deprived of the blessing, the very token of that friendship. Imagine wanting that very token being given to someone else entirely. Maybe she simply spent too much time in that ego gear, enough to have her senses corroded by that cold, depressing sensation. That would have been better than whatever this was. Because the child would never have had to feel this sense of betrayal toward the abnormality. The manager's decision, however, was quite precisely made. The child, who was quite exceptional, did not need the blessing. It was better given to a still fledgling employee to improve his chance of survival early on in his career. Which is why he constantly assigned the child to different abnormalities to prevent her from gaining the blessing. He already knows everything there is to know about this abnormality, even before he assigns it to a containment unit. Well, let's continue on. That detail is not of much importance anyway. What matters is that there was no way for the manager to explain his thought process to the child. The other employee, much less competent than the child, ended up in a cold, dead corpse in the merciless conditions of this company. Been a while. And when the abnormality escaped, the hollow pride that she still sought to protect someone broken. And encountered an employee with an icy glare. No, her old friend. You become so twisted that you can't even return my greeting. More of that boring old useless self-loathing over failing to protect that kid, isn't it? That's just what you are, what you do after all. So why didn't you just choose me? I wouldn't have gone out like that kid did, not that pointlessly anyway. A wailing cry, tears across the very stage itself. A reply or an expression of wrath stung by her words. The floating blades gather around her. You're gonna skewer me with your sharpened swords. Fine. The child raises her own blade in preparation. The same blade as the ones floating around the abnormality. Still, it still hurts me deep inside that you did not choose me. But I realized I can't mope around forever. I'm busy as hell, got plenty of employees I've got to protect, a whole bunch of rookies just got hired, you know. The upper layers doing even worse. Miss Malkuth's finally got a snap from the crushing workload apparently. They say that she's been acting stranger and stranger as of late. So I've gotta get up there and help him out. I don't have any more time to waste messing around with you. The child bites her lower lip, determined, and assumes a fighting stance. Sure, I don't even have a smidge of pride left, but that doesn't stop the burden on my shoulders from growing, does it? So I'm gonna live up to that responsibility at least. Let's go home, 00173. The child will probably survive this suppression effort. She'll succeed at it too. But her suffering will continue and the sense of gloom will eat her alive. Her unusually high level of attunement with the ego here makes her stronger, but allows for deeper corrosion. And the longer she wears it, the more resonant the abnormality's voice shall become in her head, torturing her. It is inevitable, even still. She will work herself to the bone and fight on to take responsibility for the tasks that are given to her. Because that, in her mind, is the only way for her to be chosen if such a thing ever happens. Fitting, isn't she? Her distorted thoughts, they fit this cold corporation so well. There we go, now we're finally ready to get into the actual story and combat.
복지팀의 협조가 필요한 거지. 의로움을 세우기 위해서라면.
관리인가 아니면
이 명을 받듭니다.
Oh, we only get to bring 6 people this time.
필두, 출진.
How's the taste as he brewed it with the leaves? Chylli's teacher gave us. It's called by Hao Yinzen or something, I think. It's a nice cup of tea that goes down easily. Not as good as Jiren's, well. Yeah? Cold wind of dung. Da Guanyan blows under this pavilion. Now that we've survived another huge incident, I was planning to hold some consultation sessions with the sinners like I always do, but I wasn't sure when Mephistopheles was coming back, so I decided to conduct them outdoors. Well, a change of scenery can be nice from time to time. As much as I'd love to be a part of that discussion, the thing didn't come with a mouth. That must be a sore spot, don't it? We've expressed that feeling before, remember? Whenever we were snacking together, you'd say things like that. We got the complimentary food from the work train to Rodya too, and you must have been curious of its taste back then. Well, you know, it's not all that bad. I think I feel regret and sadness. It's kind of tragic almost. Ever since Hong Li severed the cycle that bound the high ropes of Daguan and sealed the Jin Tianren in their temple, he's been making a lot of expressions that I hadn't seen before. Moreover, lately I've been getting the impression that he's actively been trying to express his feelings and thoughts, even for things his past self would have simply accepted as is. Like an old dam breaking its fresh spring, water surging to freedom. I can't give you a mouth, but you can trust me to give you a very detailed explanation of flavors, so feel free to ask me anytime. Yeah, thanks. And honestly, I think that's a good thing, especially because more so than anything, I could sense that Hong Li was gently enjoying these moments. I think I can safely mark him down as experiencing very positive changes in my consultation notes. Though I'm not sure if any of that will get through to you, given that you probably don't even remember the taste of food anyway. Let me change that to started on a path to achieving some very positive changes. Excuse me, manager. That's when Sinclair suddenly rushed up to us on the pavilion. What's going on? I know you're in the middle of a consultation, but there's this huge, big-ass house. Big as a house truck by the entrance that's... The point is, I think you might have to come see that. Boy, quackhead. Is that... The truck was indeed massive. It certainly did live up to all the fuss Sinclair kicked up, but... Ain't that something? It didn't seem to me that the other sinners were all that concerned about it. Is everything okay here? Hope it's not another attack on Daguan Yuan. No, it ain't. Well, we did suspect that at first, but it's alright. It's because no one on the bus knows how to observe, it's all about the details. Get it? Look, it's right there, the company logo. Where? Seriously, it's right there in that corner over there. Ishmael pointed at something on the vehicle, irritation clear in her voice. I stared really hard at whatever she was pointing at. It managed to find Limbus Company's logo painted on the box. It was the size of a paw. They were this close to chopping that truck into a million pieces when I pointed that out. Gotta say, I'm impressed you even managed to make out what that is. Doesn't look like anything other than a smudge to me. I guess eyesight's really the first thing that goes with age. I mean, it's kind of their fault for making it so small and inconspicuous, you know? That's because it's not a public-facing vehicle. Assad walked into our circle, dusting her hands and brushing past a few disgruntled words. This is a research vehicle used by the LCE department. You've used this once before, remember? Extrapolating from the material and the color of the track's cover panel, it can be determined that this is the same transportation device used for the regular checkup. You know what? That's what I thought when I saw the vehicle itself. Right on. Ever since you used it safely to arrive at LCE, we've been using it to move the LCC base around. Hang on, does that mean we were your guinea pigs? And guess what? Just today when we opened the truck to transport a different thing. Boy, don't ignore me. Instead of answering Heathcliff's question, Sod walked up to the truck and swung open its rear doors. And then we saw the same mess of machines we saw back then, and... Hey, this light... The now familiar green light... I see. Sod, has there been any further modifications to this vehicle since then? Well, I'm not certain on the details, but LC's chief racer... Hohenheim... Yes, him. Are you too well acquainted? Not very well, but I do make an effort to remember his minor yet numerous mistakes. She sounds oddly happy. Anyways, according to the research report he gave us, the vehicle's been modified to allow for universal use across other departments of Limbus Company. LCB's bus, Mephistopheles, right? The report said something about using the back door of that bus as a reference to equip this vehicle with various functions, and... that explains why this phenomenon is taking place here. Walpurgis Night. Yet how is this possible when we sit not astride the bus seats? It is not a theoretical impossibility. Certain major parts of technology forming its engine have been shared with Hohenheim. It is within the realm of possibility that the engine's influence may be transferred there as well. However, this means by which it has affected the vehicle has to be studied. It seems to comprehend our absence and the subsequent separation from the bot. And it may be reacting to the presence of a golden bell. At this moment, Mephistopheles is currently boarded by Virgilius Charon and various other members of the LCCB, including Pilot. Therefore, if they have traveled far, your conjecture may be true. Or there exists a flow that ensures our encounter with the Walpurgis Night, regardless of the environment surrounding us, perhaps. That's talked to herself, staring pensively into the distance before turning toward us again with mild resignation. Lead the way, Dante. If it has found us, then it must rightly be observed. I knew it, it's the former L-Corp's turn. What do you mean, knew it? Heathcliff opened up a betting pool about where our next Walpurgis Night location's going to be. A betting pool? Alright, what did I say? Pay up, you gits. You told me it was just about time the patterns changed. No way, but it was just the right time to bet against the odds. By the looks of it, the bet seemed to have been about whether this Walpurgis Night would take us to the library or to the Lobotomy Corp headquarters. Hey, something about this place seems a bit different from the other former L-Corp hallways we saw in the past. It's that sense it as well, Manager Esquire. 'Tis familiar, yet unfamiliar indeed. A stage for a play, almost. Seems it's gotten wider, too. It's still the same long and narrow hallway, but it's slightly wider. Well, it's unknown now how many days have passed at these headquarters. Ready, repeat what you have just said. No, the subject can be discussed later when its veracity becomes clearer. Sharing the current circumstances of this place, we find ourselves at the Lobotomy Corp headquarters of a certain day, at its central command, to be exact. The very center of the middle layer. Then the ones we visited so far must have been in the upper layer. Correct, it is said that the departments of Lobotomy Corporation headquarters were progressively unlocked with the passage of time. According to the reports, when the headquarters crumbled and fired that skyward light, it was... Indeed, it appears that with every visit we find ourselves at a further point in time here, as soon as the current day can be pinpointed. We might even be able to experience that day. Perhaps, then... Well, that didn't take long. We were here to take care of some ordeal or something again, aren't we? Hi, I'm not complaining. We've got to be loafing around and doing nothing while Jirshi Chun left for that grand conference to decide the future of Dagwon Yuan or something. But we have so little time, I must prepare a more intense training regimen to make up for lost time. Whichever it is, it'll be FUN. What's everyone wafting on about? You the sufferer. This is an angry one this time. Yeah, what did you expect? Some other voice be into the central command PA system other than Tifrex? Tifrex, the employees are confused. Please explain the situation to them. There's two of them? Yes, I'm also Tifrath. The Central Command, unlike other departments, was a rather significant size. It is large enough to be managed in few areas. LMU had said that this is why they have two separate Sephiroth managing this department. Yeah, that's a lot even between the both of us, which is why it's up to you to be more thorough. Yeah, bring out the ordeal already. What are we destroying this time? Like I said, what are you waffling on about? There's been an abnormality containment breach. The whole company is about to go belly up because everyone else is off trying to suppress the mess on the other side. Then the alarm that was blaring all throughout the company suddenly went quiet. Oh no, the second warning. Great, look what you did, you bunch of slackers. Get to our headquarters now, deal with the blue entity. Alright, Night of Despair time.
저건 좀 복잡하네. 솔직하게 말할게. 나한테는 좀 어려워. 이건 너희가 해결 못해도 이해할게.
Okay, we're doing fairly well. This one's kind of elaborate. Her floating swords are so hard to parry, it's got such a long reach and it's so thin that I can hardly see where it is. As if to prove St. Clair's words, the user abnormality fired another volley of thrusting swords in our direction. Just as we braced. Rays of pink light coalesced before St. Clair, materializing before someone rushed onto the scene and parried away the flying swords. Her again, leaping right into the action the moment the second warning goes off. You are... Sorry, I'm late. Here comes Magical Girl.
사랑과 정의의 이름으로 지금 이곳에 등장! 다들 평소보다 의욕적이야. 이런 분위기는 흔치 않아서 설레이네. 쓸데없이 흥분한 걸 수도 있지. 뭐 나쁜 건 아니기도 하고. 만만찮겠군. 본인이 하지.
And there we go, y'all, for stagger.
정의의 이름으로.
차라리 아무것도 남지 마라.
제압 개체에게 맞는 정상적인 공격이야. 잘했어. 스피리트 아르카나? 당연한 걸 한 것 가지고 칭찬할 필요 없어. 정의 이름으로 이륙! 잘 됐네. 이제 제압 작업을 하기 더 수월해지겠어. 기회를 놓치는 바보 같은 짓은 하지 않겠지?
나아가주게.
Okay, yeah, the fight is a little bit complex, but it's mostly a copy of her fight from Ruina.
적들은 차라리 모두를
내가 직원들을 지휘해야 했어.
Okay, that was really bad. We really need a restart.
다음에는 좋은 일이 생길 거야. 결국
뜀박질 시간.
저건 좀 복잡하네. 솔직하게 말할게. 나한테는 좀 어려워. 이건 너희가 해결 못해도 이해할게.
날카롭고 정확하게.
히어! 아르카나 빛! 차! 사랑과 정의의 이름으로 지금 이곳에 등장! 다들 평소보다 의욕적이야. 이런 분위기는 흔치 않아서 설레이네. 쓸데없이 흥분한 걸 수도 있지. 뭐 나쁜 건 아니기도 하고.
만만찮겠군. 본인이 하지.
We are doing really bad on SP right now.
히어! 아르카나 슬레이버! 지키기 위해서.
제압 개체에게 맞는 정상적인 공격이야. 잘했어. 티페리스. 당연한 걸 한 것 가지고 굳이 칭찬할 필요 없어.
합격점.
잘 됐네. 이제 제압 작업을 하기 더 수월해지겠어. 기회를 놓치는 바보 같은 짓은 하지 않겠지?
쓸데없는 관심.
Damn, we rolled negative, but that's fine.
히어! 아르카나 세이버! 히어! 아르카나 세이버!
제압 효과가 굉장히 좋았어. 기록적인 피해량인 것 같다. 뭐야 이 수준? 아까 어떤 직원이 제압 개체에 한 번에 입힌 피해량이야. 잠깐! 진짜? 왜 부서팀장을 안 달아줬지? 정보다도 푸른 달, 사랑보다 붉은 달.
점 찍었네.
자, 맛볼 시간이다.
이제 평화가 찾아온다. 운명 속에 파묻힌 그대의 이름을 걸고 나 여기서 빛을 맹세한다. 뭐야 이 수치는? 아까 어떤 직원이 제압 개체에 한 번에 입힌 피해량이야. 잠깐! 진짜? 왜 부서팀장을 안 달아줬지?
Damn, there we go. We got all 3 swords now.
스모스러운 존재들에게 나와 그대의 힘을 합쳐 위대한 사랑의 힘을 보여줄 것을! 응? 한원이라도 썼냐? 예전에 징계팀에서 클리포트 간섭 역장이라는 걸 연구했다고 했어. 그게 저런 효과던가? 아무튼 확실히 제압하긴 편해졌네.
점 찍었네.
자! 숨통 끊기. 튼튼. 바로 이. 차라리 아무것도 남지 마라. 제압이 잘 진행되고 있어. 이대로면 큰 손실이 일어나기 전에 모든 게 안정화될 거야. 걱정할 필요가 없는 건 좋네. 잘했어. 쓸모가 있으려면. 아르카나 레이! 당신 그래도 이제야 회사가 정상으로 돌아갔네.
And there we go. We defeated her.
너희들도 고생 많았어. 티페리트, 너도. 언젠가 우리도 모든 게 끝날 때가 오면 좋겠네. 그때가 되면 휴식을 기다리며 고향의 노래를 부르고 있겠지.
That is an extremely long voice line. I feel so bad, but she won't be a threat to you now. Art thou verily a veritable magical maiden? Of course I am. I'm a magical girl trying to vanquish these evil arcana. Then this magic and the legendary codices just exist for truth, and I'm most fashionable. Costume must be forsooth to gather the magical powers. Don't Yoda, calm yourself. Where are you guys going? Thou somehow managed to precisely snatch Don Yoda's wildly flapping arms mid-motion and dragged her away from the magical girl and back to our group. Wherefore didst thou drag me to from this consultation of great significance? I have mounds of questions to ask her. That thing is no magical girl. What is with thy conspiratory low voice in this? 0104 Miss Level Vab, it is a veritable abnormality dubbed the Queen of Hatred for recording purposes. Why, that maiden there is an abnormality, yet she speaketh and appeareth just like a human. And to label someone whose sheer appearance exudes justice Queen of Hatred, I believe that has been impressed upon you many times in the past that abnormalities should not be judged by their exteriors. Indeed, they possess a sense of self, they think, they feel. Grasped by the head standards, they may meet the criteria of what is considered a human. However, that is an abnormality, no more, no less. We slowly turn around to look at the blue-haired thing, compelled by Faust's stern tone. But it was just there, humming a light tune, swinging that staff around. Oh, the lights. Wonderful, looks like I managed to protect the peace once again. And when the red lights turned off and the alarm stopped blaring in our ears, I puffed away with the same pink swirl of light she first appeared with. This is annoying. Why did that abnormality have to be contained in our department? It couldn't be helped, Tifereth. Not even the manager knows which abnormality will appear at the headquarters. Yeah, that's true. But she just gets on my nerves, you know, always showing up to the tail end of a huge mess like the second warning, barely doing anything to help, leading the scenes like she did something. And you know how she completely loses it and must be baby her all the time, right? Tifereth, the mic is still on. Yeah, so let them listen. The employees have to know that this abnormality is still an abnormality at the end of the day, I guess. Her management appears to be quite the source of stress, it seems. Yet odd is odd here. The maiden have assisted us dearly in our battle, did she not? To suggest that she is hardly of any help is preposterous. Please review this document. It is a consultation of management reports for that abnormality from the former L Corp. Fortunately, it seems that an extended period of management experience has left quite a detailed report behind. Oh damn. He wasn't kidding about having to baby this one. The sinner's expressions all started to turn sour the further they read along the report. As him through it, it looks like she's got this compulsive obsession that she always has to be on the side of justice. She grows more and more hysterical the longer a peaceful period lasts. What is her problem? Got anything to say to that, oh great scholar of fixers? Indeed, it is quite different from what I anticipated. As fortune should have it, we did not encounter the mutated form of the Queen of Hatred today. However, as they also possess such a thing as psychological stability or sanity, it seems that employees assigned to this abnormality have the responsibility to keep it at higher levels at all times. It could not have been easy to put up with humoring a monster in human skin. At least humoring them is the extent of the required effort at this point. You're implying the management of abnormalities entails something far more complicated than simply calibrating their sanity at a reasonable level. Yes, that is correct. It seems that this headquarters has yet to extract a larger quantity of abnormalities. A moment, if you will, to say that they extract. Yusong furrowed his brows and started noticing a strangeness in her choice of words, but we already found ourselves returned to the mess of machinery that was LCE's vehicle. It seems this is where the scenario ends. Dante, as there will be further information that can be garnered from this experience, repeated visits to this Walpurgis night is also recommended. Okay, got it. Yusong approached Faust to continue his earlier question, but Faust only shook her head in response as if to say that she wasn't certain, or that she couldn't tell him just yet. To me, someone who doesn't even know what's going on with the company they're working for, all these stories from the former L Corp in the library are filled with nothing but confusing mystery. But something about it makes me feel as though everything that happened in those two places are at once foundations and clues to what we were going through. Maybe I can even use these moments to understand the stories I've forgotten, the purpose of this company I work for. You know, wow, he's up for a second run. Let's, like Faust, focus on looking for the clues left behind. Okay, and then I'll do a playthrough on hard mode as well.
승리의 보람과 세상의 아름다움에 대해 들어본 적이
Alright, well then, let's get into hard mode then.
사랑과 정의 이름으로 지금 이곳에 등장! 복제팀의 협조가 필요한 거지. 에고 침식도 양호. 아마도.
Okay, maybe we don't do a solo, but we can do Dawn and Rodya.
저건 좀 복잡하네. 솔직하게 말할게. 나한테는 좀 어려워. 이건 너희가 해결 못해도 이해할게.
만만찮겠군. 본인이 하지. 야! 아르카나 빛. 차! 정의 이름으로. 차라리 아무것도 남지 마라.
사랑과 정의의 이름으로 지금 이곳에 등장!
다들 평소보다 의욕적이야. 이런 분위기는 흔치 않아서 설레이네.
쓸데없이 흥분한 걸 수도 있지. 뭐 나쁜 건 아니기도 하고.
날카롭고 정확하게. 지키기 위해서.
사랑으로 야!
야! 아르카나 빛. 차!
잘 됐네. 이제 제압 작업을 하기 더 수월해지겠어. 기회를 놓치면 바보 같은 짓은 하지 않겠지?
효과가 굉장히 좋았어. 기술적인 피해량인 것 같다.
Okay, there we go. That's one sword down.
뭐야 이 수치는? 아까 어떤 직원이 제압 개체에 한 번에 입힌 피해량이야.
잠깐. 진짜? 왜 부서팀장을 안 달아줬지?
정보다도 푸른 달, 사랑보다 붉은 달.
But so far, this is going a lot better than it did of the other time.
정신 안 차릴 거야? 직원이 거의 반죽음 상태가 됐다고.
더 큰 사태로 번지기 전에 얼른 수습하는 게 좋겠어.
운명 속에 파묻힌 그대의 이름을 걸고 나 여기서 빛을 맹세한다. 3층보다도 구제불능이네. 좀 더 신경 썼더라면 이런 일은 벌어지지 않았을 거야.
이런 장면을 볼 때마다 너무 안타까워.
쓸모가 있으려면
아르카나 비트.
제압 개체에게 맞는 정상적인 공격이야. 잘했어.
페리트 당연한 걸 한 것
아르카나
가지고
비트.
칭찬할 필요 없어.
Okay, this is going really well.
아르카나 비트.
우리 앞을 막는 스모스러운 존재들에게 나와 그대의 힘을 합쳐 위대한 사랑의 힘을 보여줄 것을! 무슨 일 있었던 겐가? 한원이라도 쌌나?
예전에 징계팀에서 클리포트 간섭 역장이라는 걸
만만찮겠군.
연구했다고 했어.
본인이 하지! 이게 저런 효과던가? 아무튼 확실히 제압하긴 편해졌네.
사랑으로 정의 이름으로 이륙. 히어 아르카나 슬레이브.
제압이 잘 진행되고 있어.
만만찮겠군.
이대로면 큰 손실이 일어나기 전에 모든 게 안정화될 거야.
걱정할 필요가 없는 건
정의
좋네.
이름으로
잘했어.
Damn, this would kill her off now.
정의의 이름으로. 히어! 아르카나 세이버!
당신 그래도 이제야 회사가 정상으로 돌아갔네. 이번 제압은
And there we go. That was hard mode. It wasn't really that hard.
티페리트, 너도.
언젠가 우리도 모든 게 끝날 때가 오면 좋겠네.
그때가 되면 휴식을 기다리며 고향의 노래를 부르고 있겠지.
승리의 보람과 세상의 아름다움에 대해 들어본 적 있는가? 없어도 전혀 상관없다네. 지금 우리가 보는 경치가 바로 그런 것일 테니.
And there we go. Oh nice, I've read 10 times. And there we go. That will be where we're gonna end it off for today's video. If you made it this far, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time with me. Well, whenever Limbus Company updates again, so... yeah, see you then. Bye!